ChatGPT can be kind of pessimistic when you ask it a question. I was doing a little bit of research on qubits and qudits. I first of all asked it, could you use amino acids because they rotate plane polarized light? Because you can use different configurations of photons. We'll have to go to the previous question. How are qudits made? Qudits, like qubits, can be implemented in various physical systems. However, the process of creating qudits typically involves more complexity due to the need to encode information in multiple states. Here are some common methods for creating qudits. What caught my eye was optical systems. Qudits can be generated using the properties of photons in optical systems. Amino acids are optical systems. They can rotate plane polarized light left or right. It says in this approach, the different degrees of freedom of photons, such as polarization, orbital angle, momentum, or frequency, are utilized to encode multiple quantum states. So the polarization of light, the orbital angular momentum, or frequency can be utilized to encode multiple quantum states. Says by manipulating these properties using optical elements such as wave plates, beam splitters, and phase shifters, researchers can create qudits. So it then piqued my curiosity because amino acids can rotate plane polarized light. When you focus a beam of plane polarized light at an amino acid, it will, as it passes through the structure of that amino acid, the light moves in different directions depending on the structure of the amino acid. So I asked it, could you use amino acids because they rotate plane polarized light as qudits? And this is where ChatGPT gets a little bit pessimistic. It says using amino acids as qudits based on their ability to rotate plane polarized light is an interesting concept. However, there are several challenges and limitations to consider. This is where it gets pessimistic when it says challenges and limitations to consider. There are no challenges or limitations. So then it gives me a whole bunch of challenges and limitations to this idea. But in the real world, there are no challenges and there are no limitations. So I then ask it, what if you just decided to say, instead of calling them challenges, use these so-called challenges as functions of the system? ChatGPT gets really happy. It says, certainly, reframing the concept of challenges as functions of the system provides a different perspective. Let's discuss how the aspects mentioned earlier could function within the system. So then it tells me quantum properties, decoherence function, before it just said decoherence, control and manipulation functions, before it just said control and manipulation, readout and measurement functions, readout and measurement. And if you read these, they're very pessimistic. A major challenge in quantum computing is maintaining coherence, which refers to the preservation of the quantum state over time. Amino acids are subject to environmental noise and decoherence effects, which can generate the quantum information encoded in their optical properties. This just tells me that people who design quantum computers, they want there to be no decoherence, but it doesn't really matter. It just matters what you want to use the computer for. you could learn to use a quantum computer with a little bit of decoherence or even a lot of decoherence, depending on what you want to use it for. This gets really interesting because we are built out of amino acids. So it says quantum properties. The complex molecular structure of amino acids could function as a diverse set of quantum states within the system. Each structural configuration and its corresponding optical properties could serve as a unique quantum state, offering a rich space for encoding quantum information. Instead of viewing decoherence as a hindrance, it could be seen as a function of the system that provides a mechanism for exploring quantum dynamics. The interaction of amino acids with their environment, including factors like temperature and surrounding molecules, could influence the coherence and evolution of the quantum states, adding a layer of complexity to the system's behavior. The ability to control and manipulate the optical properties of amino acids, such as their ability to rotate plane polarized light, could function as the basis for encoding and processing quantum information. Techniques for precisely modulating the molecular structure or external conditions could enable the implementation of quantum gates and operations within the system. So now it's telling me that, yes, you could use amino acids, and they could enable the implementation of quantum gates and operations within the system. Readout and measurement functions. Rather than being viewed as disruptive processes, readout and measurement could function as essential components of the system's operation. By designing sensitive detection methods that interact minimally with the quantum states of amino acids, researchers could extract information about the system's quantum state without significantly altering it, facilitating the retrieval of encoded quantum information. The word challenge really just shouldn't even exist. It's a silly word. There is no challenges. We should replace challenges with functions and learn to work with these so-called challenges.